Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair.
Hey, what the hell happened to Gamerathon 3?
I'm still editing it, but I've got to catch up on where I'm supposed to be, and I had all these other reviews scheduled for May.
Yeah, right.
Point is, today's review is Live Free or Die Hard. Released in 2007, 12 years after the presumed end of the trilogy, Live Free or Die Hard was one of several movie franchises presumed complete that just got a sequel out of nowhere.
Unlike a certain series that's incomplete, just only stop.
I'm getting to it! Anyway, Live Free or Die Hard actually wasn't originally supposed to be a Die Hard movie. It was a completely unrelated script that was worked into being Die Hard. But considering that's how the best movies in the franchise actually started out, I don't really think that's something you can hold against it. Bruce Willis returns as John McClain, now cosplaying as a no-nonsense Mr. Clean, sent to magic erase the crime from the city. But this movie's gimmick is cyber-terrorism, and as such, our technologically illiterate lead must be complemented by the geeky sidekick, Justin Long, whom you may recognize as Derry from Jeepers Creepers. Or Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'll let you decide which one is more horrifying. Anyway, let's take a look at Live Free or Die Hard and see if it was really worth resurrecting the franchise.
Like Gamerathon in the ocean.
Do I have to bribe you as well? The movie opens not with establishing the setting or John McClane, but the extremely heavy use of hacking and Justin Long's masterful pickup lines.
We're just running a test in our security system, sir. It's fine.
You have a sexy voice. Is there anything else I can do for you? To you?
With you? In you? We see that Justin there is not the only hacker working for Sexy Terrorists Incorporated, but it turns out the bad guys are in fact bad, and supercharge this man's delete key. Surely that is a much less noticeable and cheaper option than just paying him the 50 grand they allegedly agreed to. The movie doesn't slow down at all, establishing the crisis first thing, as the cybersecurity division of the FBI is hacked in mere seconds, rendering the facility useless.
I want every hacker in the country who could have done this interviewed now.
Sir, that's close to 1,000 names.
Oh no, 1,000? That is far too much for the entire US government to handle. But it's 3 a.m. 4th of July weekend morning in a year where the 4th lands on a Wednesday, so that's reason enough for the government agents to not care at all about national security. Therefore, they opt to involve the local police agencies in rounding up the suspects, which introduces us to... oh.
Jim, I said no.
Ah, crap, it's not another one of those situations, is it? Please tell me that his genitals are intact by the end of this scene.
What? Don't touch me!
No means no.
What are you doing?
Sure, no means no, but she was saying yes, 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 no. Yes, yes, make that no. So, you got any tips for dealing with bipolar disorder? Point is, this introduces John McClain, and the now grown and extremely hostile Lucy McClain, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
You dragged my boyfriend out of the car.
You said he wasn't your boyfriend.
He's not my boyfriend.
I thought you said I just was. Shut up.
In case you're wondering where Holly is, they evidently got divorced in between movies. And no explanation as to why.
You are such an asshole.
Well, you're not exactly looking like a shining example of kindness and understanding yourself, bitch. Point is, they establish he's estranged from his daughter is a cunt whom none of us should care about, and then he gets a call to pick up the local hacker Matt Farrell, who happens to be our buddy Justin Long. Unfortunately for him, his leet-speaking internet buddy warns of a potential danger right when Bad Guys and Beyond upload a virus. A C4 plastic explosive virus! But considering someone had to break into his house and fuck with his computer, which we can assume he hovers around close to about 26 hours a day, wouldn't it have been a little easier to just shoot him? Or just give him the 50 grand? But before Matt can super delete his apartment, John shows up to bring him in, making for a distinct lack of fireworks this 4th of July.
Tombé. On fait nous-mêmes.
And if that doesn't work, Plan C. Nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. At least this means when Matt tries to run, an action scene breaks out. This gives the two men an opportunity to bond, as Matt screams and runs for cover while John shoots the fuck out of the pursuers. But the real kicker is when the Terminator joins the battle. May I ask why the super sinister syndicate rigged all the computer hackers' computers to explode when the delete key is pressed? Who the fuck presses delete when their computer's fucking up as opposed to escape or Control-Alt-Delete? As this results in the apartment catching fire, John and Matt take advantage of the fire escape. Strangely, the bad guys saw this coming, but no bother, parkour is no match for four-wheel drive. If this were like Skate or Die, he would have been diced into little meat cubes out of the first Resident Evil movie. Unfortunately, this is more like Watch Dogs, so he just has to wait around for 10 seconds and he's at full health again. This does mean that Matt and John survive until morning, reaching Washington, D.C., just in time for the cyber-terrorists to dark web the Red Chan net, hacking the traffic signals, resulting in chaos and confusion. More than usual, I mean. They top this off by setting the anthrax alarms that apparently are built into all major buildings in D.C. off. Great use of taxpayer money there. And they reveal themselves in the form of a presidential YouTube poop.
It is time to strike fear into
the hearts of citizenry.
Fun fact, it allegedly took Fox 4 months to splice together all these presidential videos into this visual ransom note. Of course, that does make me wonder why the fuck they didn't just get CS-188 on the job and he'd get it done in a week, with decent sentence mixing to boot.
The internet. Connectivity.
And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have had to resort to saying fuck it and adding a random voiceover in the middle of the footage. Matt, who has been brought into the FBI, but they suddenly don't care about, because it's not like a top hacker could have any insight whatsoever into this mass hacking, is the only one who figures out that this event is the dictionary definition of a fire sale.
No one here's talking about a fire sale. Not unless you're telling me you helped plan one.
Now, these got to be fun in homicide cases. Alright, bring in the witness, but don't you say anything about a killing unless it's that you're an accomplice. The FBI does agree to hear what Matt has to say. Not sure if that's a good thing, but it scores the two guys a police escort. Unbeknownst to them, the hacker henchmen are sabotaging their ride.
Take the next left at Lexington.
And that's a sexy voice.
Do all bad guys just try to make sure that their recon units stand out in a crowd? Do they not realize that bad is supposed to refer to their behavior, not their competency? Exemplified when John gives her a pop quiz.
You gotta be pretty crazy over there, what with all those 587s, huh?
Yes, sir. We've had to dispatch all units.
Yeah, you had to dispatch all units for all the naked people walking around?
If she were really a cop, she would have known that the horde of nudists is actually a solution. Being found out, she complies in letting her boss speak, the big bad guy of this diehard, the ever-charismatic, extremely well-known, Timothy Olyphant. Well, he was Kelly in The Girl Next Door, which makes me scared to actually research that any further. And Agent 47 in the Hitman movie. So that's clearly just as good as Alan Rickman or Jeremy Irons, right? Maybe we shouldn't really research that any further either. Establishing how evil he is, Timmy cripples John financially, but offers to make it up to him.
Shoot Mr. Farrell in the head and drive away, and by the time you reach the end of the next block, all your debts will be wiped clean.
Shoot him in the balls first, and you score a 3 times multiplier.
Well, that really is tempting, especially that last part.
But it's John, so of course he's going to do the good thing and self-sacrifice. How great of a life did he have to begin with? Thus, the bad guys kick off another action scene, attacking from the air, before herding the main characters into a tunnel that they use the hacker magic to swarm with cars coming from all sides. I don't know whether to complain about the really obvious CGI or just accept the fact that it was really fucking cool. As they haven't lost their pursuers, John takes the spare vehicle and drives the motherfucker into the helicopter, which the gunner survives, but,
L'hélico EHS.
What about Farrell and McClane?
C'est l'histoire ancienne.
The explosion was too great. It must have disintegrated their bodies. I don't see them anywhere. Assuming all is well and they're merely down one member and a pretty expensive vehicle, the bad guys continue with the plan.
Nothing's happening. Be patient.
This is the American internet. You do realize just how bumfuck slow that is, don't you?
See? There you go.
Actually, don't give any other explanation for this, so I guess that works. Timmy sees his henchwoman, Mai Lin, played by Maggie Q, off to go fly and pretend to be the FBI. While this is going on, all the infrastructure and utilities continue to be hit one by one, lending credence to the fire sale idea, which means now, about an hour into the movie, they finally stop to think about what such an operation would require, so they might cut the bad guys off at the pass.
Now they take this out. wipes out all the power for the entire eastern corridor. But again, you'd have to do it manually.
Fortunately, they have a very handy guide on how to perform a terrorist takeover. You can download it as a PDF. As they can't fly, they steal a random car, which, despite the main internet being knocked out, still has OnStar support, somehow.
Please just help us, okay? We need your help, please.
Emergency services are on their way.
My dad is my hero, and right now he is in my arms, dying. We can't wait, so please start the goddamn car!
I'm not convinced that it was story that got those results, or the fact that the OnStar agents realized that they would have to continue listening to Justin Long whine about turning the engine on if they didn't. Strangely enough, the bad guys reached the target location a hell of a lot faster in their FBI-branded flying machine.
FBI, we suspect there's been a security breach.
Here without authorization.
Okay, how much did the fake ID and helicopter cost? Because it looks like it did fuck all for your infiltration plan, which is effectively roll up in the bitch and shoot every motherfucker in our way. In the time it takes them to get comfortable and do that digital voodoo, our much slower heroes catch up, showing up first thing on the surveillance cameras. This means...
Yeah, it's not like they're...
another kick-ass action scene. Fortunately, with how heavy-handed they are with the hacker magic powers in this movie, they don't actually try and pull off some kind of Matrix magic fighting shit. Instead, John bests henchman number 8 by taking him out with his own gun. His other gun. He had 2, apparently.
Come on, let's go.
John, you already had a gun, and he had 2, and you're only taking the one that you brought with you, and you're leaving your useless hacker unarmed. And useless. Maybe I shouldn't say that, though, as when they reach the main hackable room with no one left but Matt gets to use his skills to stop the crisis, while John gets his ass royally kicked.
That's enough of this kung fu shit.
From that half-Vietnamese woman, and a quarter Polish and quarter Irish. Possibly the least Asian stereotype in cinema. John gets the upper hand, but as luck would have it, is an idiot. This means that after Mai kicks him down several stories, she has plenty of time to force Matt to rehack the hack he dehacked from the hacker's hacking. I'm pretty sure that's right. Unfortunately for our femme fatale here, McClane believes in equality of the sexes, and thus has no problem driving a car up the stairs just so he can run her the fuck over, knocking them into an elevator, which she subsequently falls down before everything explodes! What's wrong? Plenty of male henchmen suffer far more gruesome deaths, and theirs aren't even considered plot relevant. Her death, on the other hand, is the motivation behind head bad guy taking a personal interest in killing McClane. That and this line.
Last time I saw her, she was at the bottom of an elevator shaft with an SUV rammed up her ass.
But on the plus side, you might still be able to pass her off as modern arts.
You have no idea who I am.
That's more the casting director's fault there, Timmy. The FBI knows, though. Turns out Timmy here is playing Thomas Gabriel, who was in charge of the cybersecurity division of the FBI up until he had the audacity to mention that the systems were vulnerable, at which point he was fired. And this drove him crazy. Really? Welcome to the American workforce, Tommy. But never mind this revelation, the bad guys are using the computer magic to pump the gas back to the station with John and Matt, which is courteous enough to explode right on cue. This doesn't kill them, however, there is another problem. Which means either the hack went through anyway, or there really isn't any problem in an action movie that can't be solved with a gigantic explosion. Being backed against a wall, Matt reveals that their only hope rests in the hand of Warlock, a fellow hacker with those special hacking magical powers, pretty overtly. With that in mind, they fly over to his place, recognizable because it still has lights. Well, he has a shit ton of electrical generators, evidently, and there's no explanation given as to where he's pumping the carbon monoxide, or how many people it's killed. But we finally meet Warlock, or Freddy Calidus, played by Kevin Smith. Yeah, Kevin Smith. And actually, he wrote the lines for Warlock, though Bruce Willis said he didn't like the first draft because it was too lighthearted for such a serious movie, so it was rewritten, though you can still tell it was Kevin that did it.
Nice poster.
Oh, what, like you a big fan of the Fat?
No, it's always more of a Star Wars guy.
Star Wars guy. Who is this man?
I'm just starting to realize that Hollywood is like one big, expensive YouTube network. Hell, Bruce Willis wanted Ben Affleck to play Matt just because they worked together on Armageddon. After some more shouting and some calm threats of police brutality, Warlock shows that another building that happens to be off the grid and super secret of some kind seems to be the focus of an awful lot of attention and generating a lot of heat from its massive computers.
Tell you what, guys, I don't know what's in that building, but I assure you it's not social security numbers.
Well, this is a Die Hard movie, so this is either a huge grand statement of rebellion or money. Most likely the first leading into the second. Their activity does catch the attention of the webcam of Sauron, which gives Tommy the opportunity to show John that he's tracked down one of his 2 children, but the female one, and therefore the only one we really care about if they died, and we'll use her as a hostage.
Come on, John. Make a joke. Say something funny.
Alright. Timothy Olyphant walks into an Oscar award show. Their exchange gives the good guys enough time to track the bad guy's location, however, allowing Act 3 to get underway.
Do we ever think of resembling a plan or anything? Find Lucy and kill everybody else.
I like it, mainly because I realize that Matt isn't his daughter. In the chaos of the random encounters, Matt does end up separated from John, and after super encrypting the bad guy's data thing, is being kept alive until he gets around to decrypting it. Not really giving the man much incentive to bother helping now, are they? As it's the climax, we get our share of spectacle, like hardcore parkour fight scenes that end in henchmen puree, Grand Theft Auto in pursuit of the little van with the head bad guys and hostages, plus of course we can't forget the Harrier jet taking out the highway while doing everything in its power to kill McClane, which of course they fail to do. Oh yeah, and in between everything, they go over what they were going for with the Soul Fire Sale thing anyway. Guess what? After they were making all these grand statements about how vulnerable the world is and taking a stand and showing everyone, it really was all about money. Who would have guessed? Now that that's over with, Tommy figures out that self-sacrifice has no power against the identifiable victim effect, so he threatens Lucy's life instead of Matt's, in order to get the hacker to comply with removing the encryption. To think a supervillain group of master hackers can't get around encryption. Kids, I do that every week. I mean, it's called ripping a movie and getting around the copy protection in the way. It's they make this out to be such a big, horrible, painful obstacle that's so hard. It was Tuesday. Thus, things look to be going in bad guys' favor. But look out! Bruce Willis is here to save the day.
Don't worry, baby. Everything's gonna be alright.
So he's a little rusty. What?
As soon as Matt's finished, I'm gonna kill him and your daughter, and I would love for you to see that.
Okay, so you let Matt know that he won't even manage to save Lucy's life, so his motivation for helping you now is what? No bother. Tommy's torturous tendencies trigger the taser pointer to take the target through the torso. Which, yeah, would probably blow his arm off, or at very least sever the nerve endings and render it useless, but, I mean, come on, it's Bruce Willis playing John McClain. We know he can handle that shit. This results in the last of the bad guys winding up fucking dead, and the story coming to a close as a happy ending. After all, it's not like having no police or utilities anywhere on the East Coast could have caused a riot or anything. More importantly, Lisa and Matt keep asking how each other is doing. But don't expect anything to come from that. After all, the original theatrical cut of this movie was PG-13. Anyway, that was Live Free or Die Hard. And it's pretty flawed, but it's still very entertaining. One of the first things that really stands out in this movie is it feels very much to be an artifact of its time. It's only 8 years old, but boy does it scream 2007 with the cyber-terrorism and uber-patriotism. I mean, yeah, Die Hard films often fell around holidays, but the 4th of July, and the feds were actually useful? The hell? Other than that, I have to say I was pretty disappointed with Timothy Olyphant as the main villain. Not that he did a bad job with it, which is why it sounds like such an odd complaint, but because he's not nearly as big a name as many other Die Hard supervillains. It comes off feeling less Die Hard-y, I guess. But the rest of the movie does, from John McClane feeling authentic as ever, to the intricate plot unraveling slowly over the 2-hour running time, to the fact that the movie had a 2-hour running time, got to the action right away, and never felt padded or unbalanced. All these things are to be commended. At the end of the day, Live Free or Die Hard isn't the best Die Hard movie out there, and with some different choices in casting, might have felt more like a Die Hard film than what we ended up with, but was still a great flick and worthy of the title Die Hard, coming in at 4 equal opportunity SUVs jammed right up the ass out of 5. Which means I have but one more Die Hard movie to review. Which means I better start checking Amazon, and hoping that the shipping doesn't take all summer. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Dr. Shado. And remember,
Gamerathon great!
I'm getting to it!
She just killed a helicopter with a car.
I was out of bullets.